Well, hey, um, let's. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, okay. So I forget that every once in a while I have to reset the mic. I don't know. That could be on me. But good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus, your video game enthusiast and industry analyst. Every morning, Monday through Friday, for about 30 minutes, I'll talk about the latest gaming news, what I've been getting into, what's going to be going on, stuff like that. But yeah, it is November 20th. And I might have mentioned before that it's been getting cold, but today it was super cold. It was in the 40s. It's pretty nice. Hey, Ultronomus, Jim Killex, good to see you guys. Yeah, so there's this thing where I guess the chat box thing that I put into OBS, I guess every once in a while resets, and then I have to manually input it. So there's that. That's because I try to get the chat on screen. Oh, you know what? I don't have the thing on. Let's see if I turn it on. Let's see what happens. I don't know. That's not a big deal. The big deal is, let's start with what I've been playing. So let me share that. All right. So here's the surprise, guys. There's this game, Raiden. I'm sure you've heard of it. I grew up saying Raiden, and I think because of Mortal Kombat they say Raiden, but I think it's supposed to be pronounced Raiden. It's a shmup series that I've known about for a long time. When I was first playing it in the arcades, super long time ago. There's a movie theater that doesn't exist now. I think it's a church. Yeah, it used to be a movie theater to go to. I remember I'd see the old Star Trek movies there with my dad. What else did I see? I saw Back to the Future 2 there. Anyway, they had a Raiden arcade cabinet. I remember that. Anyway, there's this new Raiden that came out. I had no idea. Someone in the Gundam Explained Discord posted. Oh, there we go. I got it to work. I know own at least one of the Raiden games. Yeah, there's so many. There's the main line, and then there's this other line. Anyway, there was like this collection on 360 that was awesome. Raiden Fighters. Anyway, so in the Gundam Explained Discord, someone posted, "Oh, I got the special edition for the new Raiden Nova," and I was like, "Oh, there's a new Raiden? I had no idea." Oh, Jam Killex, one of the first that you ever played was the original. Yeah, R-Type. R-Type 2 still getting the DLC, which I haven't played through all of R-Type. I need to do that someday. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, I got to look this up, and sure enough, October 31st, a Raiden game came out. I had no idea. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. One thing that was interesting in the Discord, the guy's like, and it's different because it's a twin stick and there's upgrades. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, and I might get to it later in stream if we get through all the news, but the new Raiden game is a survivor-like. Yes, they've made a survivor-like. So it's, like Vampire Survivors, like, the karate survivors I was playing recently, all that big genre, I think that started in 2022 or 2023. And they did it, and now it's still shmup-like because, like a survivor, like you're dodging all the attacks, but instead of it doing the auto attack, you actually use the right stick in whatever direction you're facing, you're shooting, so what happens is then when you level up and it pops up where you choose like the 3 different items, just like a survivor-like, it has the different abilities plus some new stuff that we've seen in Raiden games before, so completely shocked that this game came out. 1, I didn't know there's a new Raiden game. 2, I'm surprised and impressed that they are combining the shmup genre with the survivor-like genre, and it's a very neat game. Because I beat the first level, died in the second, so then you start over from the beginning, but you're constantly upgrading your ship in between. So the first thing I'm pumping all my upgrade into is gaining XP faster. Once that's done, I'm going to go in and then slowly work on, I don't know, whatever I feel like is the next thing, and I think it's taking out enemies faster, so it's just going to be my weapons. There's options. There's so many things. Then you can buy an additional fighter, and maybe there's more. Anyway, we'll check it out here in a little bit, because I think it's super awesome. And then I played more Outcast: A New Beginning. While I still really like it, this feeling set in. It's one of those things where, 1, I appreciate it's a big open world game, but it's not too big and not too crazy. 2, I was in that loop of, go to this, go here, do that. And, or in terms of open world, go to this icon so you can collect this, go to this icon so you can collect that. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do that actually. But I do want to get the upgrades. So I think my plan is maybe when I go back to it, just do the missions until I feel like the missions are getting hard. Because it is a super fun game. I love the fact that, and I didn't know this, I was telling you guys, the jetpack. Like, it's pretty much LB, RB at any time. You go horizontal, and then you can just fly, like, across the ground and still jump. And then you're just going really fast. It's like the traversal was awesome. So, yeah, and that's all I really, no, that's not true. Ultronimus, who was in chat, let me move this, had mentioned it to me. DLC coming to Godzilla DLC coming to this Super Monkey Ball that just came out on Switch. Now, while that's cool, I just forgot about that because I've been forgetting my Switch in general. The new Zelda game came out, but it's not exactly what I wanted out of a Zelda game. And even reading the reviews of the people that play it that even like Zelda, they're kind of like, it's not what it's not exactly what you want out of a Zelda game. But it's neat that they're making these new experiences. So I passed. I want to say there was another game that came out earlier this year. Am I forgetting? Was that Princess Peach Showtime this year? But then again, that one's super simple, even though I kind of like that stuff. Let me address this again. But anyway, the Super Monkey Ball was one because I've played that series. And so I thought that would be a good, it's kind of like a puzzle platformer in a way. And I need something like that right now. So I played the demo because there's a demo available. The thing is, it's half off. So it's like, okay, this is probably the best time to buy it. So it hasn't shown up, and maybe it's because it's the demo, but at the same... Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I did a manual profile scan before we started, and so, yeah, it's showing the demos. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, fun game. Very fun. I mean, it's, Monkey Ball, but there's a little twists on it, and... The beginning of it does what sometimes I find boring. Was there another game recently that I was playing that did this? That's where that X Defiant. November 15th. Interesting. I did not play X Defiant on November 15th. That could be just Ubisoft. The Ubisoft app may be refreshing because for a while it wasn't picking up on stuff. But there was another game I played recently where, like, the first few levels are just super easy. Oh, Astrobot is like that. Okay, good example. Astrobot, it's like where the first few levels are pretty easy, and then later on, it's a lot more fun and challenging. Oh, yeah, that's right. And in fact, I think some of these deals are like the Cyber Black Friday deals. That Nintendo has a lot of things on sale, so good time to get in on some Switch games. Yeah, the one Switch game that I do have, but then it came out on PC. So it was that Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which if we click on, no, not EA. Yeah, Nintendo. So yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. I hadn't played it since August 14th. I originally played this on Apple Arcade because it first came out Apple Arcade last December. Excellent Ninja Turtle roguelike. I'm super surprised about it. And then I was like, well, I'd rather have it on a console. And it came out on Switch. But then it came out on Steam. It's like, well, I would have rather had it on Steam. But I guess the other cool thing to think about is that, Switch games are going to be backwards compatible with the Switch 2. I know for sure I'm going to get it when that comes out. There's so many games that I would like to play through in beat. This Bakaru game, I'm going to get it on PC, but I'd love to get this game. It was really cool. There's just so many games. Suika. That's so fun. Yeah, I forgot some of these that I played earlier on in 2014. Yeah, because I got Forgotten Land and I got Link's Awakening. I haven't beaten either of these. Yeah, Metroid Dread I did beat. It took me 13 hours. That was just okay. But there's so many. Okay, that goes in 2023. Yeah, okay. Let's jump into news real quick. So first, it might not be a surprise, Bandai Namco Online to be absorbed by Bandai Namco Entertainment because they were the ones, they had some games, but the last few games that they had going on was Gundam Evolution, that got shut down, and then Blue Protocol, which will be getting shut down January 18th. But they had other titles that I never heard of until now. SD Gundam Operations and Gundam Tribe. They might be Japanese only or something, but they're being taken over by Bandai Namco Entertainment. So, you know, Bandai doing their thing. I'm still waiting for them to come out with a proper, you know, big budget Gundam game. Treat the games like you treat the shows and movies. You know, that it's pretty crazy. I mean, because gaming is that medium right now. All right, let's move on here. Gaming leaks and rumors. I like to peruse this every once in a while. Kadokawa confirmed that they have received a letter of intent for an acquisition by Sony. So this is additional news. Is there not any? Okay, this is additional news that we talked about the other day. And I guess, you know, people aren't too happy about it. I guess I don't have any sort of opinion, maybe because I don't know this Kadokawa, you know, that much. I do think, like, how do I put this? Like, I liked the idea of Sony, you know, buying Activision Blizzard. I felt like that whole company could use a refresh. But I also think it would be neat for Sony to purchase From Software, to have majority stake in them, because I do like the idea of these companies having ammo in terms of, like, what are some cool, unique games that they can have exclusively that can kind of make Xbox think, oh, we have to have our hard action RPG series made. You know, that, like, I feel like if Sony was really in charge of the Souls franchise, I'd like to see these other companies try to, you know, come out with their own stuff, I guess. Let's go back here. Alleged information on Switch 2's initial shipment size. Let's see. Wow, look at it. So it was like some sort of code decoded as the initial stock quantity has been finalized and the factory will plan production accordingly. I can't disclose the exact number, but for the US market alone, it's roughly 2.5 times the volume from March 2017. And that when the Switch came out, so 2.5 times the volume. And that's what I was thinking, that they were going to have a whole lot available, just because I feel like the Switch 2 really has been cooking for a long time, and they're planning for that. That's really cool. Let's see. Do we have any hardware info on Switch 2 yet? Hey, Fulcrum. Not yet. Not anything concrete except for the leaks, and leaks being that it's going to use NVIDIA. You know, stuff about the technology that you see being used in Unreal Engine 5. They were having people work on the Metroid series that had experience with Unreal Engine, so I feel like it's going to be like a ROG Ally or something like that. But we'll see. Let's see. Any other? That's about it. If they're expecting that many early sales, it must have some great launch titles like ARMS 2. That's funny that they're saying ARMS 2. But yeah, 7 years since Mario Odyssey, so I'm hoping for them. Yeah, they released the date of the Switch 2, and it's going to have in that window, because it's weird. I feel like back in the day, you could have big launch titles all at the same time, but then now I feel like you have to spread them out. So it would be the Metroid Prime 4, a new Mario, and I think they should re-release the Wii U Star Fox, just remade to be with traditional controls. I liked that Star Fox game. It was just annoying to use the Wii U pad. Sony's PXS will use AMD. So interesting they're going with AMD. Going with AMD makes sense because NVIDIA relies a lot on the software sort of rendering, but Sony has their own sort of software rendering. So I think it makes sense to go with someone like AMD, because AMD can have better performance at a cheaper price, but They're not necessarily known for the software rendering like NVIDIA is. So I like this sort of split in. For a while, it was AMD, NVIDIA, whatever. These companies would use the same chipsets. But another thing with Sony using their own software rendering is, well, that's going to be even easier to emulate in the future, actually. So it is pretty cool that, anyway, it's cool that they're going to have kind of their own sort of, exclusive style game graphics potentially, which I think is what we need because everything's going to look like Unreal Engine 5 pretty soon. Did people forget Mario Wonder already? Jump straight to well, in terms of like a full 3D game. And, even with Mario Wonder, and this could be just me personally, it did a lot of cool things, but as a whole, it was the least exciting Mario game. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's so many one-offs in Mario Wonder that it was hard for my mind to sort of grasp and capture the essence of what Mario Wonder was. Because so many different levels had so many gimmicks. Even the last boss, spoilers, was a rhythm game. And I feel like they relied too much on gimmicks in Mario Wonder than just a straight up, here's just some awesome platforming, which it still had awesome platforming. It's still a great game, way better than Sonic Superstars. But anyway, yeah, I think people want the new 3D Mario. And yeah, even that's funny. Even thinking about Odyssey, I did not play Odyssey as much as Galaxy, as 64. I didn't really play much of Sunshine. The whole water thing, I wasn't what I was looking for. Final Fantasy 14 Mobile announced. That makes sense. I mean, the game is super popular, right? That's cool. Let's see what else. Stalker 2, first 2 hours of gameplay. Interesting. I'm interested in trying it. I heard rumors of it going on Game Pass. I don't know. Valve Steam Controller 2, codename Ibex, and Decker's controllers, codename Roy, are prepping for mass production. Interesting that they're doing this. So I can see Steam coming out with a controller because nowadays, and I have an example right here, FlyDigi, and right here, GameSir. I don't use traditional first-party controllers when I play. Am I doing this right? There are third-party controllers that are better than a DualSense, better than a Xbox Series controller. And you know what? For the longest time, I was like, no, I like the DualSense from the PS5 because of the extra vibration and stuff. But now, after playing Astrobot, it's annoying actually because my mind is associating this sort of the trigger, what do you call it? Tension of as you're pressing it, it will do things to be harder to press in, and it kind of takes away from just pressing a button in a game. And I associate Astrobot with that, and I found that so annoying. It's very interesting. I mean, you could turn it off, but I guess that means, okay, I don't need this expensive PS5 controller because really those gimmicks didn't really do what I thought. I still think the Switch, actually, Joy-Cons do a lot more, even if they're not as comfortable. But anyway, so for Valve to come out with 2 controllers is very interesting. So they're going to have, it says Steam Controller 2 will have symmetrical, okay, hold on. Deckard's, and so I don't know if this means that there's 2 controllers. I'll be very happy if it's basically just the controller version of the Steam Deck. Would make using my PC on my couch. Yeah, if they had the little touchpads, that would be neat. Yeah, trackpad is what they're calling it. That would make sense. Yeah, it really depends. I think the D-pad makes or breaks a controller, in my opinion. It really does, because even if you're not using the D-pad to move around, you're still using it to actuate stuff. Jam Killix is saying Kadokawa is notable and sizable media. Oh, is a notable sizable media conglomerate. Okay, that would make sense for Sony then. Fulcrum, I can't believe PS6 is even something that's being talked about. The PS5 spent the first 3 years of its life cycle barely available, and in the next like 2 years, it's already going to be obsolete. Yeah, but that's what's very interesting about this is that it actually always happens behind the scenes. Once they've gotten the new console out, they're already working on the next iteration. So the PS5 Pro was probably already being worked on as soon as the PS5 came out. Same with the 6. They're always having to, because it's the R&D. They're constantly researching. As soon as they hit like a milestone in hardware, which is reducing the size, the cost, but delivering on power. That's why, that's kind of one reason why Sony does these refreshes, but at the same time, I think they're trying to make money because they know people will buy it. But also, what was interesting this time around is no one was wanting to move off the PS4. Sony makes money off of, the hardware. So if no one's buying a PS5, they're not making money. That's what's been weird this generation. Yeah, and I remember when the Super Nintendo came out and I was reading an article about a 3D Silver Mario, and we know that in Mario 64 he was silver, but they were already, and that's when they had like the Killer Instinct arcade because Nintendo was testing out their hardware, Ultra 64. It's interesting, that will always happen. As soon as a console comes out, the company is already working on the next. Okay, so let me go to some news real quick and see if there's anything else. Yeah, we'll talk about the Bandai Namco thing. Reflector Entertainment cuts jobs after launching debut title Unknown 9. So this was that title that, got some pretty bad reviews. It also was one that was, and I don't mean this disparagingly, but made as a DEI game from the beginning. And it just didn't do well. It was just not a good game, and then it came out and they had to lay off people. It's too bad. Let's see. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake producer wants Final Fantasy 6 to get... Oh, yeah. I think that's old news. So is this going to be a lot of that same news today? Yeah. Okay, so... Oh, another one laying off people. Again, you always have to ask why. You know what's funny? At my job right now, my boss has been talking about when we put together certain documentation as we're proposing things to clients or bringing up things to clients, it's like, always have the why in there, What is the why? And I've been thinking about that lately in terms of video games, because sometimes a video game will come out and it's like, well, why? Like, why is Unknown 9? Because their whole idea would be this whole media franchise, comics, a show. None of that's happening now. And it's, I guess you gotta have, you might have a cool idea and that you want to make something, but there has to be a why associated to it. Like, why do this? Like Final Fantasy 6 to get the HD 2D remake, that is a why. Because he wants to get it, to have the HD 2D treatment. That makes sense to me. It's very interesting. Like, why should Bandai Namco do a Dark Souls 3 remaster? Well, because Dark Souls sells, remasters sell. So there's a why there. Final Fantasy 14 coming to mobile. Why? Because everyone plays it. It's super popular. Might as well have it on every platform. Yeah, the why is very important. So with this remaining time, I actually want to show you guys Raiden Nova, because again, I'm super surprised. It's not too impressive, and in fact, it might even be a little expensive for what it is. $30, you can get it for $25 if you shop around. But I like to support this sort of thing. I'm a fan of shmups. If this helps the shmup IPs in any way. Okay, let me game on here. And then Ultronymous, this sounds like when people try to break into esports. So busy making something that follows all the esports stylings, you don't make a good game first and have esports success as a result. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And it kind of reminds me of the... And I guess sometimes you can have a why and it not make sense like that, like with Gundam Evolution. But you really have to ask, why make Gundam into a hero shooter? You could say, oh, because hero shooters are popular and we can break into esports. But why does Gundam need to break into esports? The why there is a company just wants to make money. If that's what it boils down to, then you don't really have a good case. Anyway, as you can see here, on the main menu, you could shop for different designs. If you go to power up, this is where you upgrade. There's a lot to upgrade. I've just been upgrading CPU, which is growth efficiency, which I believe that's the leveling up faster. So there's arcade mode, unlimited mode. Unlimited mode might be more of the traditional survival-like. I haven't played that yet, but I've been playing arcade mode, which is stage-based. And I guess I could have shown that. There's ways you can like upgrade the ship between runs so that you're a little more powerful the next time you go in. Actually, I was showing that, right? Yeah, because of the CPU thing. I haven't been upgrading anything else. So again, another interesting thing is, for this being a shmup, it doesn't control traditionally. It almost looks like it's going to go vertical. But then you see it's a twin-stick shooter, which, that's the other thing. Most survival-likes are not twin-stick. They're usually you just one controller, analog stick you move around, and that it auto-fires. This, at least, you have more control. And then see the 3 upgrade thing, like a survival-like. I don't know. And there's different levels to upgrades. I mean, really what's going on here is cool. And it feels and plays like, you know, I'm playing a Japanese game from the 90s. And there's even a dodge boost button, which I just showed there once. That's very common with Survivor likes, the whole... Next one. The one thing that I get sick of when I play Survivor likes is what you just saw there. Luckily, this game does it where you press a button. Like, you see how it says I can upgrade? In, like, Vampire Survivors, it just automatically pops up, like if you're in the middle of something. Right now, I have... Oh, well, this is now popping up. But this doesn't happen... Yeah, this is when you get a mission complete, and then it gives you a bunch of items. But, like, right now, it's even showing I have 2 upgrades here. I'll do in a second. Oh, 4. Oh, okay. We'll do that. Level 3. Do that. Level 4. Okay, oh, I just got hit. And then, yeah, so once you, well, I would say beat a level, you actually die. Once you die, then you have the tokens you can use for the upgrades that are then persistent for each run. And you know what? I like that idea where I feel like that could be done with a traditional shmup now. You know, really thinking about what could add to shmups, and it's like, well... And maybe R-Type 2 did this, and I don't know. That every time you die or you don't beat it, you go back and you grab upgrades, I guess. So, hey, Steven. Yeah, this is the first game to take the shmup genre and survival-like genre and sort of mash it together. It's very interesting. Okay, yeah, and that only pops up if you actually go to it. And yeah, it just gives me a whole bunch of stuff. Oh. Let's see. Again, I think each stage is about 5 minutes, so I've got, yeah, 2 minutes left. And again, the idea is to survive. Oh, not good. Look at that. Alright, what do I want to do here? Not good. Special ship up here I can destroy for something. Ah, it's just a bomb? Okay, maybe I can use it. Oh, there's another one over here. I'm doing bad. There we go. Just a bomb? Okay. Upgrade that. Sure, we'll do that. Oh. That was a lot of leveling up. Wow, I'm letting myself get hit. Yeah, let me get these guys so I can get... Okay, there's some health. Coins. It's an upgrade. There we go. That's nice. So I think, whoa, yeah, there's some other crazy stuff that happens, and I think sometimes you can only survive or get past it by getting upgrades, then going back. What else do I want to use? All right. So we're getting near the end here. Ultronymous, this feels way easier to follow than most Survivor likes. Yeah, I think so because it plays like a traditional twin-stick shooter. It's just, it's using the Survivor like kind of like upgrade system and sort of the setup. But what's cool is then there's a boss battle, and this usually doesn't happen in survival likes. And then it actually plays more like a standard vertical shmup. But it's still like twin stick. So I think this is a neat attempt at evolving this genre, the shmup genre, by using, you know, the survivor-like stuff that's become popular. And what's interesting about the popular survivor-like genre, there's so many games that have come out in the past couple years, is that it's an interesting premise because you're really only pressing one button other than moving your character. And it's like, that could be on the N64. I mean, the NES. Like, I'm trying to think, old, like Atari. Like, you're just pressing one button to just choose an upgrade, but you're just dodging, essentially. But luckily, this does have more to it than a traditional survivor. Oh, I just really let that thing hit me. Again, this was a complete shock yesterday to me when I found out this existed. Came out October 31st, which there was already so much coming out around then. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. Okay. There's actually a groove to that. And I don't have this certain weapon I was using that actually shoots the bullets. Okay, that's interesting. Before I had a type of laser that would shoot the bullets that came at me. I didn't this time, but I think then that meant that maybe the ammo I was using was more powerful because that was a quicker time. Yeah, now, see, so this is another cool thing that's different than Survivor Likes, because then you go to stage 2, which, I mean, maybe some others do that. I've played maybe half a dozen. Right, and you can see then the timer again, 5 minutes. So yeah, each level's like 5, which is cool, because in Vampire Survivors, a level is at least 30 minutes. And then depending on how you've upgraded, it could go on forever. So this is nice to know. Hey, I just want to get a quick 5 minutes in, get some... And actually, I should go because I got to get to work. So let me... Oh, I think you look at the skills acquired. Okay, so... If I exit the game, I'm pretty sure it just... Yeah, I get from what I did from the first level. So we'll go look at the... a quick 5 minutes, or 30. No, yeah, that's what I like about this. Like, yeah, it's the 5 minute increment. So I could say, hey, I need a quick 5, and then I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. But with Vampire Survivors, you're locked in. It's like you're gonna play for 30. I guess you could quit depending on what you unlock. But all right, so that was just one level, and I got nearly 2,000. So I have now maxed my CPU. And then the other one that I would... firepower, attack power. Just general attack power seems like the most logical next one. Max HP. Defense. So there's a lot of different things you could do. I'm just going to put it all into firepower. So this is the third time I played the first level. I played the second level each time and died or left. And I've already fully maxed this, and I'm, what, near halfway, about halfway with firepower. So you can see how quickly the game does allow you to upgrade, which I think is a good thing. Yeah, this is great. And you know what? It looks cheap. Or low budget, I should say. It doesn't even have video options at all. It's like it's default whatever resolution this is. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that is. Yeah, I've already got 8 of 50 GBs. That's Raiden Nova. Again, kind of a steep price if you're not into the Raiden series or you're not into Survivor likes. But if you like this stuff, this is a fun time because I think it helps. For me, at least, already, the fatigue I get from a Survivor like Vampire Survivors. Like, you guys have heard me talk about when I'm playing Ode to Castlevania on Vampire Survivors, like, I'm actually sick of the game. I'm just trying to unlock the music. But this, it's a little different. It plays more like a traditional shmup, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, thanks all. Thanks for joining. It was good to see you all. OGMPLX, this just reminded me that Namco has a continuity time for most of their space games, including Galaga, Cybersled, and Dig Dug. Oh, I did not know that. That's actually pretty neat. And they need to release more of that stuff in some way, like Galaga. I think Galaga is a great game that could get a modern take. Anyway, so that's it for today. All right, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day. Peace out.